how's everybody doing today?
Awesome. I got a puppy.
Well, that's cool. So, as you can see, as each of y'all look at your desk, can anybody tell me what it is?
A clock.
That's correct. Now, what does a clock do?
It tells time.
That's correct. Now, could anybody tell me why it's important to know how to tell time?
So I'm not late?
Yeah, I mean, that's a start. Yes, it's important to know how to tell time because you're going to be using it for your entire life. If you have an appointment, you need to know what time it is and when to get there. If you have an assignment due, you need to know when it's due, all that kind of stuff. So, as y'all can kind of guess, that is what we're learning today, is learning how to tell time. And then we're also going to kind of put math in it and use it to problem solve with time passing. So that is what we're doing today. So if you could, I have already put out an assessment to worksheet at your desk. So if you could go ahead and take a few minutes and fill it out. And then that way I can kind of just know what y'all know, and that way we can go ahead and go over the lesson. All right, and then whenever you're done, go ahead and put it on my desk, and I'll look at it. All right, so now that we're done with that, I'm also going to hand out these worksheets where you're going to be cutting out numbers, and you're kind of building your own clock. So you're going to need scissors, a pen, and glue stick for this. So if y'all could go ahead and get that. All right, so this is pretty much what y'all's clock will look like. This is what your clock will look like. And then once you've cut out your hands and your numbers and already attached them to it, we're going to be going over, practicing a little bit what this all means. So, can anybody tell me what the shorthand is for?
It's for minutes.
That's close. The shorthand is for the hours. All right? So it's going to tell us what hour it is. Can anybody tell us what the longhand is?
Minutes.
That's correct. All right. So, with looking at this, can anybody tell me what hour it is?
1.
That's the opposite. This is the minute hand, okay? So the hour is actually 8. All right. Now, can anybody tell me what we do as far as counting by minutes?
5.
Yes, so we will count by 5s, okay? So each one of these, whereas the hours, it is what it is. It is what the number is. For minutes, we're going to count by 5. So it'll be 5, 10, 15, 20. Y'all go ahead and keep counting with me.
25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60.
Yeah, so 60 minutes is an hour. All right, so if it's 8 o'clock and the shorthand is on 8, what is the minute?
5.
Yeah, so therefore it's 8:05. All right, so does everybody get that? Does anybody want me to do another practice problem with them? Okay, so let's do another one. All right, so the longhand is right here. Oh, and shorthand is right here. So, what hour is it?
2.
That's right. All right, and then what's the minute? If y'all need to, count out loud.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Is it 52?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you know how to count time, or you've practiced it before, right? So What I did not include on mine was little divots, okay? So on each one, so yes, we're counting by fives here, but each little one, I didn't add it on mine, but it is on your sheet. On each one, so this is 50, so 51, 52, okay? Because we can't leave this space out. It's not going to be 805 to 810. You have to count in between each number, all right? So that's correct. So it's pointing to 852 or 252. All right. So does everybody feel comfortable with that?
Yes.
All right. So what I want y'all to do is go ahead and fill out this worksheet. That way y'all can go ahead and we'll go over some of them, okay? So if you could pass these out. All right. And then whenever y'all are done, y'all can go ahead and put your pencils down and we'll go over it. All right, is everybody done?
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead and go over it. Shanice, we're on this one. Is that all right? All right. So number 1. What time is that saying?
9:58.
That's correct. All right. So the first one is 9:58. Did anybody not get that? Okay, great. All right. Number 2. What is that pointing to? What time is that clock saying?
10:49.
That is correct. All right. Number 3. What is that one?
7:56. No.
That's close. It's 7:57. I know with the little divots it can be hard to read, but it's very close. You're just a minute off. All right, and number 4.
4:10.
That is correct. All right. So it seems like y'all have the analog clock down. All right. So everybody say with me. What kind of clock is this?
Analog.
Right, an analog clock. All right. We're now going to go over what a digital clock is. All right. I will tell you digital clocks are easier to read. So, say this is our time. What time is it?
6:10.
That's right. All right. See how this is a whole lot easier to read than this one? You don't have to do as much thinking.
I like that clock.
Okay. So, remember, what kind of clock is this?
Analog.
And what kind of clock is this?
Digital.
That's correct. All right. So you'll have another worksheet. This one's going to be a whole lot quicker because it's pretty much telling you the time. But what I want you to do is with the digital, there's going to be a clock. There's going to be several clocks on your worksheet. They're all going to be different times. So you have to match up the digital clock with the analog clock. All right. So this one should. So that one should look like that. All right. So does everybody get that?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and do that worksheet. All right. Y'all ready to go over it?
Yes.
Okay. So we already did one of them together. So we did the 610, and then which one was it? The top left, top right, or middle, or low left, low right?
It was the middle one.
That is correct. All right. So the next one was 7:10. All right, which one was that?
It is the one to the right.
That is correct. All right, and then there's 1:15. Where's that one?
1:15. Is that the top right?
Yes. All right, and then we'll do one more. All right, and so what is this one?
10:45.
All right, and which clock does that match up with?
This one matches up with the one to the left, the bottom left.
Right. All right. So, does everybody feel like they know how to kind of tell time, what a digital and an analog clock looks like, and then knowing how to kind of match it up?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, all right, now what we're going to do is, since we have learned how to tell time, so we've done our first objective, now we have to include math with it as far as knowing how to know how much time you've used. All right? So, on the analog clock, say it is 9 o'clock. All right? Now, say I want to make it an hour later. All right? So, what would it be an hour later?
10?
Correct. All right? Now, tell me, how did you figure that out?
Because 10 comes after 9.
That's correct. All right? So, it's pretty simple. Like, as far as adding an hour, you're literally just moving your hour hand up one. All right? So it shouldn't necessarily matter where the minute hand is. If we're trying to move it up an hour, just move the hand up to the next one. All right? Now say it was 5 o'clock. What time is it?
5 o'clock.
For an hour later.
Oh, 6 o'clock.
That's correct. All right? See how that's pretty simple? All you're doing, if we want to know if an hour passed, what time is it? So if it was 5 o'clock, an hour passed, what time will it be?
6.
Correct. All right? So what I'm going to have y'all do is go ahead and do this worksheet. Those of you, I have included an iPad on your table. If you want to use that, go ahead and do that. And we're going to hold up our clocks. All right? So, all right? So here's another one. All right? What time is it?
2 o'clock.
All right? Now, an hour passed. What time is it? Everybody hold up your answers. We're going to see what you got. Good job. Good job. Good job. Y'all are doing good. Good job. All right. So, the next one. This one was a little trickier. All right. The next one read what?
2:15.
Not quite.
3:10.
There you go. All right. So if an hour passed, what would it be? Hold up your answers. And if y'all need to, remember, we made that clock at the beginning. If you need to, all you have to do is just push your hand up an hour. And then, what do? It's just moving up one.
Hour later.
All right. So if it's an hour past, what time is it?
4:10.
Right. All Alright? Because all we're doing, we're not touching that minute hand. All we're doing is just moving that hour hand up 1. Does everybody get that? Did anybody not get that answer? Alright. So, I think y'all got this, so we don't need to go over the rest of them. Alright. We are going to try doing it a little bit easier because I think the hour hand is pretty simple. But now, y'all have another worksheet. Those of you who have iPads, y'all are going to use those. But what we're going to do is everybody pull out a blank piece of paper real quick. And I've already set up stations, as you can see. So go ahead and turn around. Alright, so we have station 1, station 2, station 3, and station 4. So each of those have 2 clocks on them. So what you're going to be doing is with your piece of paper, you're going to have clock 1 or clock A, whichever you want to do. So if you want to go ahead and make those columns, go ahead and write station 1 on the left, leave space, station 2, leave space, so on and so forth. All right, so there's only 4 stations. All right, and then have clock A at the top part, so it's its own column, and then clock B. And then clock C, or time C, put that up there as well. So it should look like this. Need a different marker. Alright, so y'all can have it like I do. I know mine's kind of messy. But when you go to station 1, you're going to write down what clock A was. And I have already labeled the clock, so there should be no mix up as that. So clock A, you'll write down what time it is. Clock B, you'll write down what time it is. And then you got to figure out how many minutes or hours have passed. So, for an example, what time is it here?
5 o'clock.
Right. Alright? So if it's 5 o'clock here, and then in this one, what time is it?
4:10.
Alright? So, in order to get to 10, or 4:10, and we started at 5, how many hours passed?
An hour and 10 minutes.
That's incorrect. You can never go back with time. You can only go forward. So, you cross, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright? So there's 11 hours that pass between 5 and 4. So 11 hours. Alright? And you started at 0. You started at 5 o'clock. But this one is 4:10. So how many minutes has it been?
10.
Right, because you go 5, 10. Alright? So that should be your answer. That's what would go. This would go in column A. This would go in column B. And then this should be your total answer that goes in time passed. Alright, so does everybody get that?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll be walking around while y'all are doing that just to make sure y'all are doing okay. And if y'all have any questions, just ask me. But as long as everybody gets that, that's what you're doing for this station. Or for this exercise. Alright? So go ahead and go do that. And then we'll come back because you're going to turn that in for classwork grade. Alright. Alright, so now that y'all are all done with that, just gone over everything for today. So does anybody have any questions